Hello, Joe.
The reason I wanted to talk to you is because, well, first of all, you are the inspiration for the goddamn Viking in my story. And I wanted to include you because I see you on Facebook and on Instagram and I see all these photos and you already look like a Viking. But on top of that, I know you're in Death Ray Vision. I know you guys are about to release your first full length album the end of the month. I wanted to talk about that for a little bit. So, first of all, how did you
Sure.
become the frontman for Death Ray Vision?
Well, that was just a really happy accident. I had known most of the guys in Death Rave anywhere from 10 to 20 years, some even longer. Well, we never ran in exactly the same circles. We weren't like hanging out buddies or anything like that because most of them come from Worcester Way or Western Mass. But over the years, our paths would always cross. We always got along really well. Pete, one of the guitar players, he and I, and actually one of the original guitar players in Death Ray, years ago in Boston, there's a Halloween tradition that all the guys in the punk and the metal bands, guys from all different bands, get together and we'll do like a tribute band for Halloween. And it was me, Pete, Zach, Mike Hubbard from Warhorse, Jeff, the bass player from Macaro. We did an Entombed band. We played Wolverine Blues front to back, and it was just a good vibe. And like I said, I'd been friendly with all the guys in the band, forever. And about 2 years ago, just about now, it's creeping up a little bit longer than 2 years. Pete called me, and the funny thing is, when he called me, he didn't say it was Death Ray Vision. And I actually we were still in just the tail end of the lockdown. They'd give me, songs that they'd all be doing on their home studios. And it was kind of a song by song audition. They'd send me the music. I'd work on lyrics. I'd work on melodies. Then I would take the commuter rail out to way outside Boston to Chris Rosati, the other guitar player, to his studio. And we'd record one song at a time. And then they'd give me feedback and boom. And then now here's the funny part. 2 months into it, Pete asked me, he goes, well, so do you want to be the singer for Death Ray Vision? And and here's the thing, like I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, I don't know. I mean, like I'm already busy with us. And I have another band that is very active too. And he starts laughing. He goes, "What are you talking about?" I go, "Well, dude, another band on top of what we're doing." He goes, "Dude, did you not know this was Death Ray Vision?" I didn't know. And to tell you the truth, if they had asked me, Peter asked me in that first phone call, I was like, "Hey, Death Ray's looking for a singer. Would you be interested?" I would have said thanks, but no thanks.
Really?
Well, yeah, but now here's the thing. I had never listened to Death Ray Vision. I had been friendly with everybody, but all their bands that everybody was involved in, the only band that I really, really liked was their first band, Overcast. I was not a fan of Killswitch Engage, was not a fan of Shadows Fall or Seamless. Like, I didn't think they sucked or anything like that, but it just wasn't my thing. Like,
Right.
they're coming very influenced by At the Gates, In Flames, and I'm coming from remarkably different mindset. It's just a really happy accident that happened. I was in the band for 2 months, 2.5 months, auditioning and loving it before I knew it was Death Ray. And you said at the beginning of the intro that it was the debut album. It's the first album with this lineup. They have 2 albums and an EP. Yeah, the original singer is Brian from Shadows Fall. This started as a side project from Shadows Fall and Killswitch Engage when both those bands kind of went supernova. They have these 18-month touring periods, and then they have downtime. So they wanted to do something. They had been in Overcast together, and they wanted to do something a little raw, a little bit, more like second Chromags, like Best Wishes era Chromags,
Right,
Leeway,
right.
a little Anthrax, just more like more crossover than that, like the Gothenburg, like American main bands were doing. So yeah, it worked out perfectly, man. It was a happy accident.
I thought they'd only had an EP and a few singles. I didn't know they had any other albums. But I've been going down the rabbit hole, so I've been listening to Killswitch and Overcast and the rest of the bands. I mean, everybody's involved in a million different projects. You just had a show. It looked like it went great. When's the next show?
So the next things that are up for us is we're doing a 3-day run with the new lineup of Tree, like the reunited Tree. It's Dave Tree, and with the blessing of the other three original guys, he got a new lineup. Obviously, he asked the original guys first if they wanted to do it, and they wished him all the best, and they signed off on it. And he's got a new lineup. I saw them one time last summer, and they were really, really good. We're doing 3 shows with them. And then that's the 23rd through 25th, and then the 30th we have the official record release show, which is going to be in Boston, Cambridge. It's going to be at Sonia, and it's us headlining with killer fucking bands. I picked the lineup out myself out because I wanted to get a nice mix of what's happening in the city. We got Klaxon, who are an Oi street punk band. Grotesqueries, who are just disgusting death metal, Burning Wind, who are very much like Inepsy, that motor charged raw punk. Then we also have Apollyon from Maine, who are black and roll. They started out like very much like Emperor years and years ago, and they just really morphed into. I mean, you can hear it sounds silly, but to hear it, it makes sense. But you hear everything from like grand funk and like early Aerosmith in with like their raw black metal, like but it works. It really works. It's not forced. So that whole show is going to be a fucking ripper. That reminds me like those old school like 80 shows at the old Ritz in New York, like when you get Carnivore and Leeway. Yeah.
The new album's called No Mercy from Electric Eyes. It's out Friday, June 30th. But here's the question I got. You've already recorded the album. So what is it like performing it live in front of an audience?
It's fucking great, man. I mean, this is what I do, and it's really nice because I'm old as shit, man. I'm 53. To have a brand new thing, I'm really lucky. Like, the world is so fucked up for everybody. To be able to just be in a room with people and play music is just a real blessing. And I'm not trying to be like overly gracious about it. It's just a fact. And I had a lot of crazy shit go on with me that like I honestly didn't think I was going to be around. And just my life is insanely better than I could have ever imagined. And just to be able to do this is great. And playing it live is awesome. And like I said just a second ago, to be this old and to like been around the block so many times, to have butterflies and to have nerves. And I mean, I always get nervous no matter what band or what any situation, even a basement show. Like I get terrified right before we start playing. But it just to be this band is we have the best of both worlds because we're operating at a level that is usually reserved for very, very intense bands. Not saying like we don't work hard. We work very, very hard, but we work around the kill switch engage window of time. Like so we have the best of both worlds where we operate at a very high level. I mean, we're dealing with Metal Blade, we're playing these big shows, but at the same time, we don't have to do 18 months. We don't, and we have room for, a lot of the guys have families. I have another very active band. It's cool, man. It's just awesome. And I'm very grateful.
This is really amazing to hear because I was thinking about it today. You and I have known each other more often on because I moved to San Diego, but for over 3 decades, which just blows my mind.
Yeah,
I've known you since
it's awesome, man. It's awesome.
So what is the secret to your longevity, man? Because you are living it. You're walking the walk and talking the talk.
Well, I mean, I could quote Lemmy because it works out perfectly. I mean, the secret to longevity is not dying, but at least for me, before I even get into like the whole this is my life and which is true, I'll just say right off the bat, I quit music at least 3 times a week, but nobody knows about it. I'll be just, in my room or I'll be walking out going, fuck this. This is stupid, boom, boom, boom. But what keeps me going is this really is, what I do. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but there are some things that I'd like to think I'm pretty good at. Like I know my place in the universe, and I also know what I find joy in, and because that's really the thing. At the end of the day, even when I don't want to go to practice or like, maybe I'm not getting my way or, things aren't happening as quickly as they want or at a level I want. I remember being 7. I remember being 9. I remember being 10, 12. And just all I wanted to do was be in a band, and it gets, you still have those little dreams when you pretend you're Kiss. But then, when you start actually living this life, then, you adjust those daydreams to actual real things and like attainable goals. But that, at least for me, like that spark, that magic, that joy never leaves, man. I'm always going to be a little kid. Like everything gets me excited. I love rock and roll. I love music. I love everything that goes with it. I sincerely do. It's just, this is this is me. And I know it's really cliche, but it really is true. Like it just, music is just, it is absolutely paramount to my existence, and it's essential to the quality of my life.
You know what gives me joy, Keith? Your enthusiasm gives me joy. Your music gives me joy.
Oh,
And having you
thank you,
as one
brother.
of our goddamn Vikings gives me joy. Although I have to tell you right now, your Viking character doesn't end so well for you, my friend.
I wouldn't have it any other way, mate, because that means I'm going to Valhalla. I am awaited in Valhalla. That's perfect, dude. That's absolutely
See,
perfect. You know, and I'm honored, man. I'm so fucking honored to be in that comic book.
all right, so let's take this home. So, June 30th, the
Sure.
album comes out from Death Ray Vision. No Mercy from Electric Eyes is the name of the album. If people want to hear more, if they want to see your shows, where should they go online, Keith?
We are on all social media platforms. I'm a caveman. And, trying to set this thing up like that proves it true. But I know for a fact we're, Facebook, Instagram. I know there's a YouTube page. There's Spotify. I would just figure everything. I know we don't have TikTok, but I think that's coming, and that's another world I'm not even going to touch. So I mean, we're easy to find. We're easy to find if people are so inclined.
All right, well, let's get out of Dodge. This is Joseph Leo for Keith Bennett and Vikings versus Samurai.com. Love to you all. Thanks, Keith.
Thank you, my brother.